everyone, welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you're new. I'm Ashley and I'm getting kind of late into posting this as far as the YouTube world, but I am filming this on January 14th, so we're still in the first half of the month. But today I'm doing my reflections and resolutions video, but I'm kind of like moving on from that word resolutions and just more goal setting. These are my goals and my dreams for the year, some aspirations I have, and we're also gonna talk about the future of this channel. So let's jump into it. So in the past, I think the past 2 years, I have gotten my little sheet of my previous year's goals and reviewed them, said what we accomplished, what we kind of made progress on, and what absolutely just was thrown out the window and didn't happen at all. I don't know that I necessarily want to do that for this video. I think I more just want to kind of like look back at the year as a whole, give my opinion on it maybe, but more so just look forward to this next year and go over my little list that I've made for 2025. Looking back at 2024, it was experiencing some of the worst and best times of my life. For those that might be new, my husband and I got pregnant in July last year, and then we miscarried at the end of August, and then we got pregnant again in October with our little rainbow baby that I'm currently carrying that is due this summer of 2025. So it was, like I said, just like really the second half of 2024 was kind of like an absolute emotional roller coaster, super high highs, super low lows, and experiencing everything in between. Lots of mental battles through that, spiritual battles through that, but also a lot of mental and spiritual growth has come out of that experience. So take that as you will, but we're just so excited to be expecting in the summer, and now we are in nesting mode as we entered the new year. We had our gender reveal, we know what we are having, and we have spent some time in the last weekish getting the nursery ready for our little babe and getting it cleaned out, getting some furniture picked out. We need to order it. But anyways, that's a totally different topic. That's kind of my biggest takeaway from last year. I'm trying to think, we also did, of course, more traveling. We went to Punta Cana for our 3rd wedding anniversary. We went to an all-inclusive resort, and that was wonderful to get to. We got away for like 6 days. I want to say it was like a good length vacation. We did that. I, of course, visited the Disney parks more than I expected going into the year once again. Let's see, I technically went to the Disney parks 4 times, and none of them were in the plans going into 2024. So we went to Disney World for a week. Well, we went to Orlando for a week. We did some Disney World. We did a day at Universal. We did days chilling around Orlando, but we did that in June last year. And then my best friend Laura and I went and did Pixar Fest at Disneyland. We were there for 3 days in July. And then Luke and I went to Disneyland for 1 day while we were in California for him with work in October. And then we went to the Disney Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, after hours party in Magic Kingdom with my mom at the end of November. So yeah, of course we visited the Disney parks more than I planned. That is something I have said every year for 23 and 24 for sure is, oh, I'm not going to Disney this year. And then I ultimately end up at Disney multiple times. So I kind of feel silly saying that like that's not gonna happen, but it is harder for me to see, at least this calendar year of 25, us getting to the parks in the current state of life with pregnancy and then infancy, but we'll just see. I'm just never saying never about that anymore. We also got our sweet little dog Tenny, and that was not going into the 24 plans at all. I really thought I had written off like pethood for a little bit, but she is the most fun little dog. She's honestly so good to be freshly 1 year old. She's so joyous. She's adorable, and I love her so much. So we got Tinny in May, so it's like approaching-ish the 1 year anniversary of us having her, but she officially turned 1 in December. So yeah, we have our little girl Tenny, and I'm trying to think if there's any other like major things or exciting things that happened back in 24. I feel like that kind of is a good sum of the year. So let's go ahead and jump into the goals for this year. Okay, so I have them all written down on my phone, and I know I typically I categorize them, I print them. We just have not had time to do that. But I feel like over the last couple weeks, I've spent some time reflecting. I've also had things just unintentionally pop up that I've thought, that is a 2025 goal. I've jotted it on here. So all a little all over the place, but we're just gonna run through this little list. So the first First thing on this list is comedic, only because of the fact we are now 3 years running at this being something on the list. And the past 2 years I have failed miserably at this goal. And it's like embarrassing about it, but anyways, goal number 1 is to read more. If you guys have remembered, every year I have had this goal, this very minor, achievable goal of reading 10 books for the year. And I haven't even come close to it the past 2 years. I'm just not a reader, but I really want to be. And when I get in the habit of reading, I love it and I'm good at it. But as soon as I get out of the habit, it is like, it takes a force of nature to get me back into it. I don't know if any of you relate to that, but yeah, I really want to be better about it. I got a Kindle for Christmas in 23, so like a little over a year ago, that I have still not used at all, which is horrible. But the main reason being I had purchased physical books and I was kind of like, this is when I was high in my reading at the end of 23, towards the end. I was like, I need to read my books I've purchased and then my reward will be that I get to use my Kindle. And I failed so miserably in 2024 at reading. Like I said, it just becomes something that like I think about almost every day and I just don't execute. So anyways, I know like basically in the summer I was doing really good at reading, and then when we went through our miscarriage, I like dropped it because I was reading a pregnancy book and I just haven't picked it back up. So goal is to read more. I'm not really setting a book goal for the year, but I am setting a goal of 1 chapter or at least 10 pages a day. That should be so beyond achievable, I feel, but here we are. So reading more. Next is to cook more meals / learn new meals and foods to make. I really enjoy cooking. My husband enjoys cooking, and I really enjoy when we have a home cooked meal for dinner, but we are so bad at being lazy or getting busy in the day, and then dinner time is like approaching and we have no plans, and it just turns into a time that we go pick something up. And I still think that's fine to do to an extent, but ultimately we want to be healthier, better about eating at home, and having a newborn and being like freshly postpartum at some point this year will definitely, I think, help with that, because it's just gonna be the nature of that little like life switch we have to make. And on that same note, if you have an easy recipe for like any meal that you love or your family loves, please comment below the recipe so that I can make it, because I would love to expand my recipe book. The next thing is Sourdough Journey 2025. That's literally how I have it listed, because I've wanted to make sourdough for like 2 years now. I've always loved sourdough bread. The thought of having fresh baked bread in my house seems wonderful. I feel like we have taken steps at this point to be able to start that journey, because we did not have a Dutch oven or anything kind of like that, and I got one for Christmas. The one I got for Christmas was not the best size for sourdough, so we've returned it, and the new one comes this week, or once that happens, I am going to have a date with my friend and she's going to teach me all the ways of how to make sourdough, everything I need to know, and I'm like committed to doing this sourdough thing this year. The next thing is to bake more. I feel like in the rich seasons of life where you're celebrating a holiday, like right around that holiday, I really do bake more and I love it. But I really want to do that just like all the time. I really want to like always have something fresh in our little like cake stand with the lid on it out on the counter as a little quick grab, treat, bite kind of thing, and expand my baking horizons. Allison Bickerstaff is one of my ultimate favorite YouTubers, and this girl like absolutely kills it in the kitchen all the time. I feel like she's always like coming up with new coffee and tea and drink recipes, but baking recipes, and I don't know, it's so like inspiring. So really want to do that. Basically, I just want to like be in the kitchen more this year. The next thing is trying new coffees with the Breville. I think this was on my list last year and I really did not do well at that at all. I just want to experiment with flavors more, I think, and like little recipes of how people say they have made like dupes or copycats for Starbucks or other like coffee things. Anyways, I just want to be more of an at-home like iced coffee girly instead of like a running errands pick one up at Starbucks iced coffee type girly, mainly because I have gotten the cutest straws from Amazon that are like glass with cute little emblems, and then this year I really expanded my Anthropologie Icon Juice Glass collection, which are amazing glasses to use for your iced coffees. And so I really want to like enjoy drinking out of those so much more, and you can't do that when you're drinking out of the little Starbucks plastic cup on the go. So that's gonna be my motivation. But I have jewelry kind of coming out the wazoo. Like, I'm really bad at collecting very niche holiday type pieces that are so fun, but I literally end up wearing them like 3 to 4 times a year. And I don't necessarily want to like get rid of it, but I just want to look at my jewelry and be like, what do I just not wear because it's consuming space in my jewelry box or on my stand? And my stand for my necklaces and bracelets has kind of become a little out of control, and it's not visually appealing. So I just want to do a quick little run through, and the pieces that are definitely like cheaper, don't get worn, they're very tarnished because they're not made of quality material, all of those kinds of things, I just really want to like minimize and declutter and get rid of those things. The next thing is to get my Disney albums finished. This is like a very achievable goal. This is not like something with your character or that takes time. This is just something that I really need to sit down and do. I've been to Disney so many times, like we said, in the past 2 years, and I know that I've bought an album for probably about half of those trips, but I need to figure out what our plan is for the others. But I have a tradition of when I go to Disney, getting an album and filling it with the printed pictures that we took on the trip. And it's so nostalgic for me to look back over old ones. And so I know in 10 years, I'm gonna wanna look back at these. So anyways, I just need to fill them because I have a lot of empty ones on my shelf, and I need to just tie that little project off with a bow and get more up to date. The next one is to exercise and stretch more. My exercise routine is not, well, it's really not a routine, as I am in prenatal pregnancy mode right now, which is not great. But basically what I've heard before, and I actually saw a prenatal chiropractor yesterday who very much confirmed this, you should not try and pick up any kind of working out or exercising or heavy lifting or anything like that in pregnancy that you were not already doing before you were pregnant on a consistent basis. So basically, once you are pregnant, that's not the time to pick up like lifting weights, running, like HIIT workouts, cardio, any of that kind of stuff. That's when it becomes a little more dangerous. And so yeah, I don't really have a great exercise routine. My exercise routine is walking the dog, and sometimes just like going on leisurely walks without the dog. But now that we have a dog, it's kind of like mostly with the dog. But anyways, point being, that's basically my exercise for right now. So I talked to her yesterday, and I definitely just want to do more like light exercising and stretching. I know there's a lot of like stretches, like pregnancy stretches and things to do at different stages of your pregnancy, and that's basically the point I want to get to. I think I might get a little like yoga mat or something to lay up in the bonus room and do my stretches. I don't know, but I do need to definitely start preparing my body physically for birth and just making sure that I'm keeping my joints and my ligaments and everything very much in check and in good posture and as flexible as they can be as the baby is growing, and moving those things around, stretching them naturally so that it's not so stiff and painful. That's kind of the point to my exercise routine that I want to get to. So the next ones are a little deeper, and this is kind of gonna round out my goals for the year. I didn't want to set too many really high, big goals just because this year is definitely going to be a life-changing year from start to finish, with being pregnant, growing a baby the first half of the year, having a baby in the summer, and then figuring out life as a family of 3 and postpartum and infancy and newbornness and all of that. I mean, that's just a feat within itself. So I didn't want to set too many goals and make it stressful for myself, but these next ones are probably the ones I'm the most serious about, the ones that are the most important to me, and the ones that are kind of like the heavy hitter. If I don't get anything else done, I really want to get these things done. The first one is to prioritize my friendships and do fun things. I am having a girls' day with Laura on Thursday, and I feel like this is kind of piece of this that I want to do. I'm really good about, like, I keep in touch with my friends. I try to go have dinners with my friends as much as I can, and our 2 couples friends that we're the closest with that are locally also very close to us, like geographically, we do things with them pretty often. We see them often, but a lot of times it's just like a night playing cards, playing a board game, chilling on the couch talking. And while I absolutely love all the times we get to do that, I don't feel like it is intentional or as fun sometimes. And basically I just want to start doing fun girls' day out kind of things, like Laura and I on Thursday, we're both taking the day off as far as, we're both freelance, work from home, own our own business type thing. So we're not having to like take a day off with anybody, but we basically planned to get everything done earlier in the week so that we could have a fun girls' day. We are going to our favorite mall in the Nashville area. We're gonna go to Home Goods, we're gonna go to Hobby Lobby and just have a fun girls shopping day. I'm sure we're gonna have a great like girly lunch because of how long we're gonna be out. And yeah, that's kind of the plan. I just wanna do more stuff like that to make it fun. The next thing I have is to mentally and physically start preparing for birth. I know this kind of goes hand in hand with the exercise and stretching, but we need to really establish our birth plan and I need to start preparing for that. I am in my second trimester and I really haven't started doing anything. And I know like some of you will probably say that's okay because the first trimester is so much more about like getting through the sickness and the nausea and just trying to do what you can to come out of it successfully. But now we are in the second trimester and I have gotten a lot more energy back. Nausea has subsided a lot and I'm so thankful for that. But yes, we really need to visit the hospital, visit the birth center, visit everything, make decisions, everything that I can. I've heard of spinning babies as a technique that people use to prepare for birth, as well as hypno babies. I don't know if those are the same thing, if they're different things. I just need to really do some research for myself this month and commit to what my plan is going to be. And I say plan because you can have as many birthing plans as you want. Ultimately, what happens in that labor and delivery room is what's going to happen, and being flexible, I think, is the most important part. But again, having a plan and just getting myself as prepared as I possibly can be so that I know I went into it in the best way possible, that needs to start happening. The next one is to appreciate this year. I put on here pregnancy and postpartum / newborn joys. I just want to take as many photos and videos as I can this year because I know I will never regret having them. And like I said, just fully soak in all the joys of pregnancy, growing life, birth, having a newborn. I just know that the second half of this year with a newborn, especially that first like 2 to 3 months, I feel, of bringing home a new baby and becoming first-time parents can be stressful. A lot of people experience a lot of postpartum depression and stress and anxiety because of everything that's new and just trying to figure out if you're doing it right, if what you're doing is working, etc. It just can be a lot to take in. I really want to try and make sure that that doesn't exceed the amount of joy and happiness and love and blessings and just pure gratitude that I have for being a mother and being able to be a mother and having a baby, etc. Like, I just want that to outweigh the negative that I know is bound to happen. It's like human nature. I just want to always acknowledge the joy. Okay, the next thing is devotionals. This is where I have fallen short in years past, and I think it's quite embarrassing and humiliating, and it humbles you in a way because I feel like a lot of people, a lot of Christians fall short of what we want to be able to do for what we do with devotionals and prayer life and reading our Bible, spending time in the Word, etc. If you are like someone that prioritizes that in your daily life, I applaud you. That's incredible because there's no good reason that that's not a part of my daily life. Like I said, work from home and freelance. I do my own schedule. I have plenty of time. It's not that we don't have time. It's just that I at least don't make it a priority of my time. I will sit and be scrolling mindlessly on my phone on the plethora of apps that I have instead of putting that time where it should be in my Bible and in a devotional. So anyways, I just want to really go into this year and find one that I enjoy and that's helpful for me and really make that part of my daily life and keep it going as long as I can. Okay, the last one I will definitely have to read off my phone because it's kind of long, but I put in here, start taking notes in church again and update my church sermon notebook. Copy down the best of the church notes each Sunday and tape them to the fridge to embark on and pray over each week. So I used to be really good for a few years actually. I had a church notebook that I took to church with me every Sunday and I would like put down the verses we read, put down the points, the funny points, the emotional points, the deep points, the important points, all of it, the reflections and epiphanies and illuminations that I've had during church. And anyways, I really want to get back to doing that. I stopped bringing the notebook for a little while, and I have in my notes from like a long time where I was doing it just in my notes in my phone, and I really need to like switch that over. But I haven't done anything like that in like over a year. It's probably been closer to 2 years at this point. Honestly, yeah, I'm sure it's been at least 2 years at this point. I would not say that I'm someone that gets bored during church if I'm not doing that. Like, I still am very like attention focused, not on my phone, etc. But I will say it definitely keeps you in the message and like following along a lot better. And I feel like you remember things from the message more because you've like written it with your hands. So I really want to start doing that again if I can. And then, like I said, when I get home on Sunday, at some point on Sunday, I want to just like look over that and maybe pick like the 3 pieces that I felt were the most prominent for me or for our family, whether it's like in that season or at that time or whatever's going on, and just copy them onto a piece of paper and tape it onto the front of our fridge, because then you are sure to see it like multiple times throughout the week. And I feel like that's how it's going to really resonate and stick with us even more. Okay, so those are all my goals for 2025. I know I have a lot of them written down, but really my main is to dive deeper into my faith and to be the best wife and mommy to our little babe here that I can be this year. I do feel like, a side note, like even though I didn't do well at being in the Word or a devotional this past year, I just want to say, if that's something you're struggling with, don't think that you are a horrible Christian or you're doomed or you can't like try again if that's you, because I personally feel like spiritual growth happens in so many ways. Going through a miscarriage and then getting pregnant with our rainbow baby, carrying it to, we're almost 16 weeks as the time I'm filming this, like my faith has grown in the past 6 months so much more than it has over the course of any point in my life. I feel none of that came from a devotional, but that all came from prayer life heavily increasing, having surrender, feeling the dependency that I did and do on God and the way He's going to make the plans for my life. I mean, those are just all things that have made my faith grow. And so if you're struggling with something like devotional or reading the Bible like I have historically, don't feel like it's too late for you. You can always jump in and just start praying, start your prayer life, and you'll experience uphill growth for sure. Okay, so now moving on to the future plans for this channel to round out this video, because I know this has been quite a chatty video. So basically my future plans for the channel, I am still figuring out, so I don't want this to like be spoken and then months from now, like say something else that I'm changing and someone be like, well, you said in that video. I mean, I feel like people can just change their minds, to be totally honest. But my plans for this channel are to kind of adapt a motherhood channel mentality, or niche rather, but I definitely want to incorporate into it lifestyle, homemaking, travel, and seasonal things as far as fashion, food, holiday celebration, like decorating and little things for the holidays. And yeah, like especially with travel, I still want to involve like the Disney stuff as much as I can in my channel, because I absolutely love watching that. Like that's a lot of the video I consume and I love it, and it's like a huge part of my life. So I definitely still want to involve it. But moving into a motherhood role, it will be definitely the most prominent role in my life for the rest of my life, or at least the next multiple decades. So I just want to put it out there that this, I don't want to say this channel is completely flipping on its head about all the content, but my channel is definitely going to be picking up more of a motherhood niche, and I feel like there's definitely more videos to come explaining what that might look like. But I just want to say that's probably the future of my channel. But I hope you will definitely still stick around, as I hope to still involve some of the things I have involved for years on this channel, just in a little bit more of a cohesive way. Okay guys, and that is all for this video. Please give it a like, a comment, and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. I would love to have you around this year, as my life is changing so much and so beautifully this year. But I hope you enjoyed, I hope you are well, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.